What's kicking, everybody? We are back for another episode of Pickin Fights. I'm Keith, joined as always by my collaborator and co-host, Tom. Tom, how are you today, my friend?
Just coming to you this morning from a little slice of paradise called Aruba, so can't be too bad. Didn't get to watch as much of UFC London as I would have liked to, but definitely heard about, unfortunately, what happened to Tom Aspinall in the main event. I'm going to make an argument that shouldn't count if you're like a gambler, you're keeping records like us. I want to make an argument that shouldn't count as a loss, but I digress. Heard Jack Hermanson was at a track meet instead of at a fight. You could put the blame on Chris Curtis for not being able to cut off the octagon. Again, I didn't see the fight, but I just saw the reaction from Curtis walking out, giving the bird to Jack Hermanson and going on Twitter and saying I didn't prepare for a track meet and all that stuff. Paddy Pimblett with a second round submission. But, like we were saying, Jordan Leavitt probably gave him his toughest competition to date. I know there was a lot of control time for Jordan Leavitt in the first round. Meatball Molly McCann came out there, and like we said, she's gaining this ability to finish and do it in front of a crowd. And then what happened with Paul Craig? I think he was like 0 for 12, 0 for 20 on takedowns against Oezdemir.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, and I heard the commentary team say this yesterday too, so like it's a little bit of a repeat from them. But it wasn't really like he was trying to go for takedowns. It was more so like he would lunge at Oezdemir and then try and pull him back, pull him in a guard. So. Weird shit going on, and then he was laying on his back a lot. He was trying to play to his strengths, and bait Oezdemir into his guard. But, Oezdemir was a little bit smarter than we thought, and maybe that's why he was the favorite in that fight, is because, Vegas knew that maybe there was a little bit of an IQ there from Oezdemir. But,
Live and learn on our part when everybody is so heavy on one guy. Everyone you're looking at Paul Craig, and that guy remains the underdog. Vegas probably knows something.
Yeah.
Maybe you take that into account. But live and learn.
Yeah.
We're getting better. My suntan lotion is shining in the Arubian sunlight. So you know what? Better days lie ahead. I think overall, still with those two, ended up like 7-4 or something on the card. So. Still a pretty good overall day. Jai Herbert getting the job done. Muhammad Mokaev getting the job done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the only one of your prelim picks that didn't get it done was that Mason Jones against Ludovic Klein.
Yeah.
But all mine got it done. I think I had Mokaev. Jai Herbert was supplied to us courtesy of our boy Enfuego. And then I had Jacasey, who also won. And then, main card, just Paul Craig and Chris Curtis were the only two. And then, obviously, Tom Aspinall. If you want to count it, I don't think it should count to our records for the show. Betting-wise, yeah, I mean, if you're legit –
Didn't he land a leg kick and then explode his knee? Like, I mean, it wasn't even like I didn't see it. But, I mean, if it was like a Uriah Hall type thing where you actually check the kick and Chris Weidman breaks his leg –
right.
Yeah, I'll give that to Uriah. He did something. But if you land the kick and then your leg gives out on you, like, I know the other person's obviously the winner via doctor stoppage, but like in terms of it's a freak event. Like sometimes that's what happens. But interesting to see if they rebook that and
rebook it. I don't think so. I think Curtis Blades, he's a guy that's legitimately in like that area where say this fight did go as planned, then the winner of this fight was probably going to go on to fight the winner of the Cyril Gane Tai Tuivasa fight, which I'm excited for that. I'm really looking forward to that Paris card coming up. But I think you just have to give Curtis Blades another opponent. Being that he's in that position in that division right now, he might not want to like just rush back in, cut weight, train again because. At that stage, you really have to like watch what you do every step of the way. But I don't know. I don't know what the recovery timeline is going to be for Tom Aspinall. So I didn't see any confirmation one way or the other. I know a lot of people online were speculating because of the injury. It looked like maybe he hyperextended it. It could be a meniscus, tear or pull or, I'm no doctor. So I don't know. I just wait for the news to come out. But Yeah, it's unfortunate how it played out. It wasn't one of those situations like like Jimmy Crute or Jimmy Crute was an actual good leg kick. It wasn't a situation like Chris Weidman. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But just for the people at home, we did record this episode before Tom went on vacation. Because as you can see, I don't know if Tom knows, but people like I and the people watching, you're kind of in and out right now. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like your Wi-Fi connection's not just dog shit. It's it's getting the job done for what we needed to. No fault of yours whatsoever. But we're gonna keep this as like an abbreviated episode because we did film this just in case Tom didn't have any Wi-Fi whatsoever. So this is going to be like the quick version where we're just giving our picks out, and Tom can make people at home a little bit jealous with his background right now. So we'll be releasing the episode a little bit later in the week with the full version. Yeah, I mean, you're making me jealous. I wish I was on the beach right now, man. That looks gorgeous. Sheesh. Hold on. Let me make you. Hold on. Go back to that. Pull that up again one more time. You're in the solo layout now. Oof. Look at that. That should do wonders for our YouTube algorithm. Damn.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, the view we have right now isn't too bad either. But yeah, so so we're gonna jump in with just the main card, but later in the week, check it out with our prelim notables, prelim locks, and a little bit of a deeper analysis into each one of these fights. Before we do that, I just want to say, please follow us on Twitter and Instagram @_Pickin Winners, @Pickin Fights on Instagram, and like this video, please, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify. Like the content, comment on the content, and subscribe to the content, please. Very much thank you. So we're going to start with and our personal ones as well. Follow Tom, please, @Pickin Fights Tom, and myself, @Pickin Keith. So we're going to kick it off with the first fight on the main card right now, and that is Magomed Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith. Another light heavyweight fight in a pretty active division with these past couple of cards. Lots of light heavyweight fights happening recently. And I just want to say, I'm rolling with Magomed Ankalaev. I like the wrestling ability over Anthony Smith's. I know Anthony Smith is a good Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner, player, however you want to say it. But, I like Magomed Ankalaev. I think he's a really good striker. Heavy hands, can stand and bang with the best of them. I don't think that Anthony Smith's jiu-jitsu is on par with Paul Craig, who submitted Magomed Ankalaev in the last second of the third round when the two of them fought. But, I like his ability to switch it up, Ankalaev. If things don't work out for him on the feet against Anthony Smith, then Ankalaev will take him down and control him on the ground. He has that smothering wrestling ability. He hasn't been using it super often lately, but I like Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith, and we were talking about it before. We shouldn't ride with those guys that are heavy Vegas favorites, and yet the people are rolling with them. And it looks like a lot of the people on the social spaces are rolling with Anthony Smith this week, but Magomed Ankalaev is like a -300 favorite. So I've learned my lesson. I'm going with Ankalaev. Who are you taking in this fight, Tom?
I really want to take Anthony Smith, and I'll keep it short because I'm not sure if you can hear me well or not. But I really like Anthony Smith as a person, as a fighter. I like what he brings. I think he's very well-rounded, and I think his intelligence and his fight IQ is really his strongest asset. However, going to learn my lesson that if I'm going to bet, I'll probably put Ankalaev. But here's the thing. At -300, I think this fight is a lot closer than those lines lead, so I would stay away from it with my wallet.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if I still got it or not, but yeah.
No, you got everything out, man. That was I like your pace right now. You're saying everything before the Wi-Fi even has an opportunity to cut out on you. So good on you, bro. So next up, we got the Alexandre Pantoja versus Alex Perez fight. And who are you taking in this one, Tom?
I'm going with Alexandre Pantoja. I think both of these guys are grapplers and wrestlers by trade. They have a little bit of stand-up ability. Pantoja, I think, has a little bit of the edge when it comes to power and speed. I know, Pantoja's also been a little bit more active. I think he's had a 1-year layoff as opposed to his opponent coming in here having about a 2-year layoff. So I think Pantoja also has a little bit more sticky grappling. He's really, really good at when people try to somersault out of a back control, just staying with them and riding them like a wave. So I'm going to go with Pantoja being a little bit more active, a little bit better on the ground, a little bit better on the feet. Should be a good fight, though.
Yeah, totally agree. I really like Pantoja's ability to, he has like a lot of nice sneaky takedowns. He sneaks a lot of stuff in, weird like body lock takedowns. Go back and watch the Davison Figueiredo fight, where you can go back and I know it was a while back now, but the Brandon Moreno fight on the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, you definitely have you nailed that right on the head because the ability to take the back, ride it. Sounds a little weird when I say it like that, but yeah, he's just a great all-around fighter, and Alex Perez isn't on his level, and I don't think that he's fought the caliber of opponent that Pantoja had. Just
Pantoja's
a quick drop.
Got a victory over Brandon Moreno. Pantoja has a victory over Brandon Moreno.
Yeah,
Not
he does. Who's also yeah, well, that was on the Ultimate Fighter. That was the fight I was talking about. I believe Brandon Moreno was Team Joseph Benavidez, and what's his face? Brandon Moreno was Benavidez, and Pantoja was Team Henry Cejudo. And AG caught on that when I said he rides from the back. He said, "Pause. Hello, AG. How you doing?" So, we're both going with Pantoja in that one, which brings us to a super lock. Both feel really, really good about that one. I personally do. How about you? You feel really good about Pantoja, or you're like kind of, maybe won't touch it with your wallet? Because I'm going to touch this with my wallet. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Pantoja by decision. I think Perez is going to have enough ground game to potentially fend off any submissions, but I like Alexandre Pantoja by decision.
Yeah, I mean, I like the decision pick as well, but don't sleep on Pantoja's finishing ability because I mean, you go back and you watch that fight against Matt Schnell, who showed off his chin two cards ago now against one name guy. I can never get it right. His name escapes me on the Long Island card. Anyways, Matt Schnell showed off a really good chin in that fight, and Pantoja caught him with a sick uppercut, I believe, or overhand, one of the two. Both very different punches. But anyways, Pantoja does have finishing ability, but I like the decision pick. So kicking on up to Derek Lewis versus Sergey Pavlovich, and this is another one that I'm very conflicted about, and that is because I feel like Derek Lewis in his current form, he's losing to a lot of the guys that he should be beating, and he's beating a lot of guys that he should be losing to. On paper, and I think 9 times out of 10, Tai Tuivasa loses to Derek Lewis. I think there's a high chance, with the experience and the punching power that Derek Lewis has, good chance that he could have beaten Cyril Gane in a different set of circumstances. Maybe it had to do with fighting in Houston. Then you look at Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, realistically, should have beat Derek Lewis. With the wrestling ability and everything, and Derek Lewis, yeah, sure, I think he's also a black belt, but just you look at what Curtis Blades is doing right now, and Derek Lewis beats him. And then we have this guy, Sergey Pavlovich, coming out of nowhere and making his stride up through the UFC, feeding him to Derek Lewis in some people's opinion. But, I also think that Derek Lewis may be a legitimate test for Sergey Pavlovich. The guy's ripped. He's very lean for a heavyweight, super duper strong. He has the ability to stand and bang, and he's got a pretty decent ground game as well. So I'm leaning towards Sergey Pavlovich. I forget the odds on this one. Tom, while you're telling us who you're going with here, I'm going to look at the odds. It's close?
Yeah, so this one's close. A lot of these guys have very similar styles. I mean, both of them are heavy knockout punchers. Sergey Pavlovich hasn't had a fight leave the first round inside of the UFC. Derek Lewis has the ability to finish at any point throughout the fight. That being said, Pavlovich tends to walk forward and do his best work from moving forward. If he has to stand still or move backwards, that's when he runs into trouble. Derek Lewis can fight and knock people out moving forward, standing still, going backwards. Derek Lewis, the heavyweight and the all-time knockout king of the UFC, has more experience inside of the UFC, and he's not fighting in Houston. That's enough to tip the scales on a very even matchup. For me, it's enough to tip the scales in Derek Lewis's favor. So I'm going to be going with Derek Lewis. What's up, AG? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I definitely I see where you're coming from, and looking at the odds though, I do like where Vegas is going with this, and I like some potential money to be made here because Derek Lewis looks to be about a minus 115, minus 120 favorite. Sergey Pavlovich about plus 100 underdog. So that's kind of where I'm getting towards in that fight, that underdog money. So we'll move on up now to another fight that I know we're divided on: Brandon Moreno versus my guy Kai Kara France. I've been saying that he is going to be a champion. I mean, if you've been following us since the conception of this show, then you will know that I've been calling Kai Kara France a future flyweight champion for a long time. Now he has the opportunity in the co-main event to hold something very close to gold. Some people would say it's not real gold, UFC gold, but it's the interim flyweight title. And I'm staying true with what I said, what I've been saying, that Kai Kara France will win this weekend. It's another step closer to that belt. These two have fought in the past. Brandon Moreno beat Kai Kara France, but I think we're seeing it's an ever-improving version of Kai Kara France. His striking ability is crazy now. He's getting so good. He rocked Askarov in his last fight. The two of them faced off last. And not only did he rock Askarov, but the reason he was able to rock him on his feet is because his takedown defense has improved so much where he didn't let Askarov implement his game plan to take him down and smother him with the wrestling, control time, or go for submissions. In the past, KKF would not have done that. He would have potentially gotten taken down and smothered. But his striking ability is just improving with every fight. And, you look at the knockout over Cody Garbrandt. Like Cody Garbrandt, anything could knock him out at this point. I think if he threw a wadded up ball of paper at Cody Garbrandt and it hit him on his chin, he might go to sleep. But the way that Kai Kara France did it to a legitimate striker, and then what he's doing to a wrestler, because that was his wrestling test against Askarov, I'm just so impressed. And the final thing that I have to go on here is that, you have the incredible talent over there at City Kickboxing, and the champions over there, Volkanovski and Izzy Adesanya, they're all saying that Kai Kara France is potentially the best out of all of them. So, I have to roll with those guys. They're all very respectable, and they don't seem to bullshit except for Izzy when he says that he's going to put on a crazy performance and then, plays a fucking titty slap with Jared Cannonier for 5 rounds. But still have to believe him with their take on Kai Kara France. Who are you rolling with here? I believe you're taking Brandon Moreno. Am I right, Tom?
Yeah, it's a real tight one for me. The thing is that you talked about Askarov and the level of competition that Kai Kara France has faced. I don't value Cody Garbrandt at this point in his career as very high level. And you just look at the last 3 fights for both of these guys. Askarov definitely top level, but Brandon Moreno has fought Davison Figueiredo 3 times and probably won 2 of them. Was able to go to decisions, never got knocked out, never got finished by Davison Figueiredo. So for those reasons, and Brandon Moreno, he has good ground game. I don't think that's going to come into play. I think both of these guys are going to stand and strike. I like Brandon Moreno's speed. I like his intelligence. I like his technique. And I also like the way that he's been able to handle the power coming back from Davison Figueiredo. So for those reasons, I'm going to lean Brandon Moreno. He's also he holds a win over Kai Kara France already. But this is one, I'm not super heavy on either way. I would like to see Kai Kara win because I love Kai Kara France, but I know Brandon Moreno has a big following of himself, and he's also good for the UFC too. So I'm gonna go with Brandon Moreno, but lightly. I'm not heavy on it. Kai Kara France, really good up and comer. I don't even know if you could say he's an up and comer. I think he's a contender at this point, and he's potentially a future champion. This is basically a top of the food chain level fight right here, and I'm gonna side with Brandon Moreno. He's got the previous win. He's a little bit bigger of a guy. He's used to the 5 rounds, and this is only going to be 3 rounds, so he's going to have potentially a cardio advantage. Like I said, fast striking, intelligent striking, really, really slick jab. Kai Kara France has a nice overhand right. Brandon Moreno has the jab. Tell us all this time who's going to land first. Moreno with a slight edge in competition, edge in reach, edge in size, and edge in amount of rounds fought over the last few years. I'm going to have to pick off of history and go with Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally see where you're coming from. I like Kai Kara's line here too, man. For all the things that you said, but also most importantly that this is like top of the food chain, could be close.
It's an interim title fight, actually, isn't it? So
yeah,
it is 5 rounds.
It's the yeah, I believe it is actually 5 rounds. So yeah, Brandon Moreno will have
the experience. With the 5-round experience for Brandon Moreno, I'm gonna lean on that a little bit more.
No, fair point. But due to the fact that this is like it is a close fight on paper, and Kai Kara France is coming in here at like plus 170-ish. That just makes me want to roll them even more. I mean, I like that dog line. He's a very, very live dog. And at this level, or in this division, I think that he has some of the strongest finishing power. Cody Garbrandt, to blow at him and he'll fall over and get knocked out. But
he got knocked out by a spitball the other day.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think Kai Kara France. And here's the other thing, too. Brandon Moreno, the last fight against Figueiredo, he tried to get a little too cute with the things that he was doing. Like that little spinning leg kick that he did. Brandon Moreno comes out and tries to be like cute and fucking, tries to do shit like flashy things. I don't think that's going to work out because Kai Kara France tends to be a little bit more he's not like super textbook and fundamental, but he does stick to what works for him and what works for the rest of the guys over at City Kickboxing. So, I feel really good about Kai Kara France, and I have to stick with what I've been saying for a long time. I just want to make note of the fact that I got a DM from one of my younger brother's friends. I don't know if he knows really anything about the sport whatsoever. He DM'd me and said, yesterday's card sucked so bad. If you disagree and you're watching this right now, or, you're watching after we're live, comment L in the chat to let this kid know that the card yesterday was pretty solid outside of the main and then potentially the co-main event, depending on who you're pulling for. Comment L in the chat. So next up, we got the main event on this UFC 277 card. That's Julianna Peña versus Amanda Nunes. This, in my opinion, is the toughest fight to pick from. You have Julianna Peña coming in at like plus 240, anywhere between like plus 210, plus 250 against Amanda Nunes, who's like a minus 275, 300 favorite. My brain tells me Amanda Nunes is going to win this one. Just, it seemed like maybe it was like a rough night at the office. Maybe she took the day off when they fought back in like December, I think it was. Maybe that's all it was, because first round Amanda Nunes is going to work and she's doing her thing. And then second round, Julianna Peña just has like this, she just starts jabbing the shit out of Amanda Nunes. Eventually gasses her out, gets her on the ground, takes her back, doesn't even have
stands her ground is really the difference.
Stands her ground, yeah, that's a fact. A lot of women do run away from Amanda Nunes, and I think that's like, maybe it's like the imposing character of Amanda Nunes more than anything. more so than her ability. Like women just run away from her. You know, you look at her last couple fights before Julianna Pena, like Megan Anderson, as much as I love her, you know, you could tell a lot of women do not want to be in there with Amanda Nunes. So maybe that's what it was too, is Julianna Pena just like stood her ground, and it was something new for Amanda Nunes that she hasn't seen in quite some time. But yeah, jabbed the shit out of her and then took her back and got Amanda to tap without even like having any hooks in her, you know, she was barely underneath Nunes' chin. So weird fight the first time around. Like I said, my brain is pulling me towards Amanda Nunes. But, you know, my heart kind of wants Julianna Pena to win. I think she has the ability to get it done a second time around. You know, it's tough. I think it's going to be one of those situations where, you know, sort of like Rose and Weili Zhang, where the first time around, Rose went in there with such a stellar game plan and knew how to finish it very, very quickly. And then the second time around, it was a 5-round battle. And, you know, because Amanda Nunes is going to have potentially patched up the holes in her game. Also, maybe not, though, because since Amanda Nunes left American Top Team, she doesn't really seem to be herself, or at least, you know, the fighter that she was when she was over there with, like, who's that, like Mike Brown over there is the head coach. So little bit of a weird scenario, and there's a lot to be, you know, imagined, I guess, going into this one, where it's like, you know, what is the current state of Amanda Nunes, and does Julianna Pena still have that edge and that game plan? You know, did she see something else maybe that she could exploit? These are all things that remain to be seen. I just think in terms of history, like I can't give a real pick for this one, but in terms of history, you know, obviously you're going to go with Amanda Nunes. If you're a believer and you're someone that likes the underdog story and you know, enjoys the Rocky movies, then you're going to go with Julianna Pena. So because I'm a believer and I like underdog money, and Julianna Pena is kind of hot, I'm going to go with Julianna Pena. Who do you got, Tom?
Yeah, as the theme throughout this video, I like to look at historical precedent. And historically, you know, Julianna Pena did win the first matchup. But that being said, I also think that you have to look at Amanda Nunes' historical dominance, number one. Number two, she's going to come in here and she's going to kind of know what Julianna Pena wants to do. Julianna Pena either take her down or move forward, because that's where she had success last time. She's going to come here and look to jab her head off. Amanda Nunes, I think we are going to see more of a GSP style recovery from a loss rather than a Cody Garbrandt or a better example, Tyron Woodley. Like, I don't think Amanda Nunes is on a Tyron Woodley slide where you lose once and then bang, it's all gone and it's all downhill and it's all losers from there. I think Amanda Nunes is going to come in here. She's been sleeping in the gym. Nina Nunes still sucks. So for me, I really think that I live and die. I really shouldn't, but I do live and die by that moniker that your, you know, spouse or your sibling can't be good in the UFC at the same time. I think Amanda Nunes, when she tapped to Julianna Pena, I think she realized, like, she's given up enough damage. She's not going to win. Let me tap, get out with.
Oh, cut out for a sec. Let's see what he says. I'm going to tell him get out with probably pride, dignity, something along those lines, potentially. Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now. So the last thing that we heard you say was that she would get out of the fight with what, Tom? Elaborate.
I forget, to be honest with you. But what I think Amanda Nunes is going to have more of a GSP style resurgence than a Tyron Woodley slide. I think she's been she's been in the gym, sleeping in the gym. Nina Nunes is still bad. She's still, you know, I still live and die and agree with that moniker that wives, spouses, siblings can't be good in the UFC at the same time. I think Amanda Nunes is smart and had enough coaching and fight IQ to know, okay, Julianna Pena is going to come out here. She's going to try and jab me. Amanda Nunes showed in the first fight that she can handle Pena on the ground if push comes to shove. And I really think in that first fight, she just realized, kind of what GSP said, Taking enough damage. I do not need to take any unnecessary damage. Like, I just think Amanda Nunes is gonna I think she made that cost benefit analysis. She's gonna regroup. She's been training. I think she's gonna come out here, know what the game plan is. At the end of the day, I don't know if anybody's really arguing that Amanda Nunes is a worse caliber of fighter overall than Julianna Peña. I think the cream's gonna rise to the top, especially in the second fight. So I expect Amanda Nunes to come out, make a statement, and say, "Hey, I'm back, baby."
All valid points. All valid points. So we'll do a quick little version of the pick rundown. Just a quick one. Just a quick little one. I've got Magomed Ankalaev, Alexandre Pantoja, Sergey Pavlovich, Kaikara France, and Julianna Peña. Tell us who you got, Tom.
I am going with Anthony Smith. That's a close one. I think that I really want to pick Anthony Smith, and I want to gloat when he wins. But at the same time, I think Magomed might win. That's a close one. I wouldn't stake my wallet on it, but I'm going to have to go a little bit with my heart. His name's Lionheart. Going with Anthony Smith. Going with Alexandre Pantoja. I think he's just better kind of all around at the things than his opponent is. What's the next fight? I'm trying to go off of memory here. I'm going with Derek Lewis over Sergey Pavlovich. Derek Lewis over Sergey Pavlovich. I am going with Brandon Moreno over KKF, Kaikara France. And I'm going with Amanda Nunes over Julianna Peña. Did I get all of them?
Yeah, you did. Very nice. It's almost like we've done it before.
I've been having a cocktail, so.
Nice. Well, I'm joining you right now. A little high noon action. Mango.
A high before noon.
Yeah, true. I mean, that would be cool too.
A high morning. How about that? They should make high mornings and make like what do you call it? Screwdrivers,
sunrise.
That's an idea. Free one.
Yeah,
high noons, high mornings, high evenings. There's a whole brand there.
Yeah, we should probably get on that before the actual company itself does. Or if anybody knows anyone at High Noon,
I'll take I'll take a 2% fee for every one sold.
Yeah,
and then I'll live out here.
Yeah, or let us do like ad reads on our show. That would be cool for money.
I'll do an ad read.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows anyone that like wants to advertise with, our show, that would be cool. I would start doing ad reads.
Well, here's the other thing too. We've turned down offers before because it's not the right opportunity. We had a sports book come to us before that we just didn't want to necessarily didn't think it fit with what we were going for. But at the end of the day, we're not going to just accept anything. But
Right.
Hey, it would be cool to have some sponsors and whatnot. But with that being said, the beach is calling my name, so I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks so much for joining me, Keith, inviting me on. I hope the Wi-Fi held up. And to all the people at home, make sure you follow us, at our Twitters, at all of the various things down below, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, if that's your jam, Instagram. We're not very big on the TikTok, but
yeah, we got to get on that a little bit more. Got to get on that a little bit more. That's see, I got to figure out how to refine the TikTok craft and get on the For You page for people. We'll be there eventually. Don't worry. But yeah, thank you, Tom, and thank you all you kind people at home. Go get after it on that beach, bro. Enjoy it. I hope you got a spike ball net and keep the booze flowing. I'll see you soon, all right? Enjoy the day.
Take it easy, brother.